wants to go for this sort of expanded play. He is quite notorious for it. It's going to be a little tougher for him though. Even though SjoW is by far not a player who would go 3 racks, who would bring his SMVs to really go all in on the expand, trying to cancel it. So we might still see a long game nevertheless. We might even see a secret next side or a secret command center floating over to the other side of the map. You never know, it's really hard to say right now. I do think that from SjoW we can expect what he always does. He's going to open up with a few Marines, then follow it up with a factory, and then he's going to use his Hellion to scout.
Yeah, both these players have very unique styles. SjoW in particular with his absolutely no scouting early on, generally waiting for a Hellion to do that sort of scouting out. And I mean, his style is one of my absolute favorites to analyze. I mean, for any of you who are unfamiliar, I do an analysis show of StarCraft 2 about learning what the pros do and how you can do it too at day9tv.blip.tv. And SjoW regularly does the kookiest styles that no one else does, but he's very good at the sort of mid-game aggression as opposed to the early attacking that most players do.
Yeah, first game that pops into my mind right now is of course from last month, the IEM European Intercontinental Championships, where he played in the final against Hydra.
Oh yeah.
And he just dropped amazing on Metalopolis. Honestly, amazing drop play by SjoW, showing that his low APM does not have to stop him from making amazing drops at the several places at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. You see Socke at the bottom doing pretty much the usual thing, Gateway, Cybernetics, Core. I love your comment bringing up that IEM Championship games. That was one of my favorite games to analyze because, along with many of other SjoW's games, SjoW demonstrates the power of aggression. Colossus, how do you stop this Terran? Don't think of it as what unit should I make, but instead it's how should I attack? And it's lots of little drops all over the place, surgical in nature, which is exactly SjoW's specialty.
Yeah, it was indeed an amazing play. Meanwhile, we do see this Marine chasing down this probe, but we do see the second assimilator going down for Socke already. It's reasonably fast, not super fast, because it's chrono boost on the Cybernetics score as well. No, the Marine doesn't see anything. SjoW has a Michael that Marine a little bit. That's 2 hits, which were already unnecessary.
Yeah, this is a very dangerous situation. If either of these players slows down, that means that that Marine could have his head lopped off. It does look like we're seeing the usual barracks, factory barracks opening from SjoW, one of the only players to really use this a lot, continue to make SUVs. Meanwhile, a little surprised to say that Socke is saving up a lot of chrono boost and getting a robo bait right away.
Indeed, 1-gate robot, so not really that afraid of early aggression, but once more playing that SjoW, you don't have to worry about it that much. We do see one Marauder and concussive shells right now, so that's a little unorthodox for SjoW, totally mixing up his play, for instance, for his last game against Corvo.
Yeah, we do see that this is a very, very nice little mix. SjoW's kind of aware that he's in a little bit of a vulnerable position, but Socke's going to hate to see that Marauder pop right now. The Zealot's going to swing around, and we're going to see some very nice control by SjoW. Incredibly good job of just running around that barracks. And now that the Hellion is out, we can begin doing a little bit more punishing of those slower units.
Still only 1 refinery for SjoW. You see not a barracks, so what SjoW is actually not very notorious for is 3 racks play for 1 base. Perhaps he expects it SjoW that Socke is going for an early expand, but it doesn't really look like it so far. This really fast early double get, okay, it does suggest a couple of sentries, but I still suggest that Socke is going to play for one base colossal.
Yeah, and that could be disaster if he's against SjoW. He will likely be getting a starport, could be incorporating some drops relatively soon. Either way, we see SjoW not really getting any other upgrades, just going to do a very early push, leading with that Hellion, 2 Hellions out right now. Just has to be careful he doesn't get trapped by a force field.
We do see the Observer going out though, and that Observer is going to give Socke all the information he really desperately wants. He sees the Hellion leaving there, he gets a perfect vision on SjoW's army.
And it looks like SjoW's trying to get into a good position. Keep in mind, if SjoW wins this game, he's through in 3rd place. If Socke wins, it's another tiebreak. The Hellions get trapped up. Looks like he's going to try to just dart right on past. Great play, pulling everything away from those infantry at the front. And SjoW has managed to work his way all the way back around. And look at this, a bunker going down on the low ground. Another Hellion makes its way back up. Hellions in the main of Socke. This is an extremely unusual position. Very nice trap there with the probes. A couple more probes taking some heavy hits. This one Hellion at the backside also trying to work his way in. Insane way to play. Squeezing the Marines up onto the high ground. Needs to load those guys up into the bunker. Target firing that Immortal. He needs to repair that bunker. He is doing a little bit of repair damage. Can he pick off the Immortal? And it looks like no, he's unable to pick off the Immortal before the barracks ends up falling. And Socke, by a miracle, is going to defend this attack.
Yeah, very nice, actually aggressive play by the show. We do see the robotics play going up straight away. There's still one heli in the base though, which is actually attacking a pilot right now. Too much stuff going on. We do see a command center going up. I was a bit surprised that Socke went for the button straight away. I thought as long as he just denies vision. Ooh, these zealots are in a hell of a lot of trouble right now as well.
If he loses 2 zealots here, that would be a really big deal. Looks like he will indeed only lose once. Very nice control there by SjoW. He will end up keeping Socke away from himself for a little while longer. But Socke, I'm feeling a little concerned for. One base, Colossus, though strong, is highly limited. Really do not have a lot of expand opportunities.
That's definitely true, but he might just hit the timing window where it's almost impossible for him to get enough Vikings off. Even though he does have a reactor on his barracks, so he could possibly switch it up with the star point. We do see SjoW very low on gas. He's researching combat shield as well. Surprised me a little bit considering the situation he's in, and will most likely figure out that his opponent is going for Colossi because after stopping that attack without losing too many probes, Socke should know he's fairly ahead, and with a Colossi boost he might be able to finish off this game.
The real question is, what is Socke going to do about this essential range upgrade? You really do need range for your Colossus, 3 guys in both of those geysers. And Socke doing a little bit of an unusual early attack.
He does have a lot of vision with the observer, will be able to pull back the time with the stalkers. I must say both players playing very well so far, barely making any mistakes. The command center is up and running already, even before it's there, well, it wasn't running, but it's up and flying. Before it's there, he's even sending over quite some SUVs already, so very early transfer by SjoW, and we do actually see a double expand for both players in close position. That's not something you see every day.
Yeah, we do see the range also going down for the Colossus. That to me would indicate that SjoW's going to be playing very passively. You have to wait till you have enough Colossus to be able to do much of anything against a Terran player. So Socke is definitely going to be waiting, biding his time. We even see him not really making much out of these 3 warp gates.
No, he's just going to create one more Colossus. You see an instant chrono boost going up on the robotics facility as well. This observer is following the factory, not that useful. Socke does have a lot of units which can attack it. Just these 2 stalkers and 1 sentry, so that's going to take a while before he will actually be able to get this factory done.
Yep, this factory is doing a lot of great scouting work. Did it seem the Colossus doesn't really look like it? SjoW, though, moving out. Oh no, the range upgrade is still about 40 seconds out of his chrono boost, so that's going to drop it to about 28. But still, I don't know if that's going to be enough time. He's trying to warp in more zealots. The second Colossus popping out right now, and SjoW knows that if he can get a good timing window here, he can do huge damage. He needs to do it in the next 15 seconds, though.
Exactly, we do see the thermal lens pretty much being completed. We do see it drop in the base. Back up like 6 Marines, 1 Marauder. That's a very nice mix. This Colossus is going to have to be careful as well. Is SjoW going to move in? He's going to focus on the Stalker straight away. He's taking out 1 Stalker. How many will he be able to take out? I love how Socke is focusing the medevac.
And Socke picks off the medevac. That's a huge win right there for Socke. He knows that there's not going to be anywhere near as much aggression for quite some time. And if he can get a second Colossus out, he'll be in good shape. He just has to continue to mine enough gas. Should add on those 2 assimilators there. He does. And indeed, we see a little too many Marines coming out for SjoW.
Take a look at the income that it's fairly close right now, 37 SUVs and there's 32 probes. That is good for a Terran player though. In any circumstances, when you have more SUVs than your Protoss opponent has probes, you know you're doing a really good job because of that double auto command, obviously.
We do see SjoW having a good amount of Marines up right now, and there he's trying to do a little bit of damage, and oh yes, with the range upgrade, Socke might be able to break in here, and if he does, oh, it looks like those Marines are taking some heavy fire. Huge line of Marines get ripped apart right then and there. 1 Viking out trying to repel. Marines now darting forward, accidentally shooting the statue behind himself a little bit. That Viking.
Meanwhile, big drop going on in the main base of Socke with 8 Marines. 8 Marines doing quite some damage over there on these on the probes, as we can see. There are a couple of stocks to clear it up, but once more Socke is losing quite some probes, and SjoW is doing a really good job for himself.
28 probes for Socke against 42 from SjoW. Socke knows that he needs to do a counterplay right now, but the question is, will SjoW have enough Vikings up? He's making Marines out of as many barracks as he can afford, but 2 Colossi with range are huge.
Definitely, we do see 3 Vikings already. We do see quite some guys, but this Viking is taking a lot of damage. It's definitely not worth to lose 1 Viking in this situation right now for an observer.
Socke is going for it. The Marines are not firing yet. There's the skin, but they are beautifully lined up. The Stalkers are trying to get to the front to be able to pick off the Vikings, but look at the Marine count just dwindling right now. for SjoW, but it looks like SjoW might have just enough to defend. He's doing some amazing control. Another Colossus is close to popping out, but SjoW took heavy marine losses in that bout.
Currently only 17 fighting supply. I'm not sure if this is really the correct decision by Socke to retreat. I really think he could have gone for it. There are just basically a couple of 4 marines and now a couple of more reinforcements are coming in for SjoW. And I really think Socke could have pushed through there, at least kill half the SCVs that were standing there.
Socke looks like he was just waiting for a couple more stalkers. He's now leading with just a Colossus. He has to be careful. We know that there are Vikings out on the field. 2 more Vikings getting close to done. He's swinging to this southern end where there's 1 bunker. Again, another restim by SjoW. And it looks like he's going to pick off these Vikings. The Colossi continue to advance forward. Some amazing micro by Socke. And the Immortal is darting forward and target fires that Marauder at the back. It looks like Squirtle's prayers may have come true. Socke may have forced another 3-way tiebreak. And there it is! Another 3-way tiebreak.
Wow, I just think that Socke managed to go through that. He wins against SjoW at Metalopolis, and what a solid game he played.